So here I am, man. Top 5 wasted potential. Top 5 players who I feel, this is the top 5 players who I feel most wasted potential. So how did I do this? This was based on how good these guys were, their potential, ability, what they could have done if they could have realized their potential. So it's really because, and this is just my personal sense, because so if I was missing some guys, that's because I just didn't really feel like if they really had that kind of potential. So I'll go to ones that are people that didn't make the list, but this is guys that I felt made the list based on what they could have been and how good they could have been if they fully realized their talents that they unfortunately did not happen. So, sorry. So let's get everything right now. So these are 5. So number 5. Ariel Ortega. People said, whoa, who the heck is Ariel Ortega? So before Leo Messi, you know, and after Maradona. So after Maradona, people are like, man, you know, who is going to be Argentina's next great son? And so who could be the next to step into the footsteps of the great Maradona? And Ortega came through the ranks. And Ortega, and this is almost similar to another player who's on this list. When Ortega came through the ranks, people said, this is the next Maradona. Because he was earmarked by those in Argentina that this is the guy who is tasked and who people believed will carry on the legacy of the great Diego Armando Maradona. So that was what the belief was with Homeboy. And unfortunately, the reality is Ortega was very good. He was real good, and I think, you know, he did his thing at that 98th World Cup, but he didn't realize the talents of what people believed in him. And I think the reason why I think he makes number 5 is because he was compared to Maradona. Now, he never lived up, never near Maradona, but because he was compared to Maradona, and he fell so short of being that superstar, world-class player, you have to just say that he pretty much wasted the potential and the ability that he had. Now, and bro, Ortega was still a quality player. Considered a quality player, but I just think that he didn't do what I think many Argentines and many players who saw him thought that he could do, because he had the playmaking, he had the ability, he had the dribbling, he had the passing, he had the creativity, he had all these, he had the ability, he had all these tools already to really be, the second coming of a Maradona, but it just didn't really pop up for your boy, unfortunately. So yeah, that's Ariel Ortega is number 5. Number 4. So Cassano. So you see, Italy have never really had what you require a superstar player. You know, they've never really had there was another player that I forgot. We'll go to that. So they've never really had a superstar player. And I think that so let me even write this down, because there's one guy I forgot. And when you look at so basically, so they don't really have like a superstar player. So when you just look at the facts of, I know you had Paolo Rossi, I know you had Baggio, I know you had Del Piero, but they've never really been that guy. So when Cassano came around, and I think Cassano's big tournament was the 04 Euros, which again was super controversial. Last game, Italy against Bulgaria, Italy won, but the one result that would have knocked them out was a 2-2 draw between, I believe it was Sweden and I think Denmark. Both Scandinavian guys was what not knocked them out, because really that was supposed to be Cassano's tournament where he really balled out. But Cassano was believed to be, this is Italy's prodigy. This is Italy's prodigy player, and this guy is going to be the truly first superstar for Italy. And I think the issue with Cassano was he had a lot of behavioral issues, a lot of attitude issues. Someone say a similar thing here, and because of those attitude behavioral issues, look, the guy always had on his sleeve. You know, he had a massive character, a huge character, and I just think that's because his behavior wasn't always on point. I don't think that he really properly focused in trying to refining and honing his talents, because I think if you ask a lot of Italians, they would say that if Cassano properly honed and focused and refined his talents, the guy would have been a world-class player and would have been definitely one of the best players in the world, because he had that ability within him, because he had that ability. Because I think Italy have always been known as being very much team-oriented, where we really all require a team. But Cassano was one of those guys where he could really be an individual that helps to elevate the team, similar to what a Pele, Dino, Ronaldo do for Brazil, and what like a Messi and a Maradona do for Argentina. That's what Cassano brought. But based on his attitude problems, issues he has, maybe social behavior issues, homeboy was not able to do it. So yeah, so Cassano is my number 4. Number 3, Ricardo Quaresma. If you take it back to the very beginning, take it back all the way back, because they both came through around the similar time. It was Quaresma and Cristiano. Quaresma was always the more talented. And I think the case of Quaresma, especially with Quaresma and Cristiano, this is the perfect example of talent alone isn't enough for you to say what's up and actually be the best player you could be. You need to marry talent with footballing ability. Sorry. You need to marry talent with hard work and execution. Having the talent alone wouldn't just make you amazing. Yes, you need that talent, but you also need to know how to execute that talent. And I think in the case of Quaresma, the guy's ability was frightening. What this guy could do was frightening. It's almost similar to Dino, because this guy was doing stuff on a football pitch that you have no business doing. Like the kind of stuff that this guy was doing on the football pitch, you have no business doing this kind of things. And the kinds of moves that this guy could pull off in a match was insane. But I think the issue with Quaresma is, which is also makes Ronaldinho one of the greatest players of all time. And Dino is such a special player because Dino showed you how to properly take the streets into 11-a-side. And I think Quaresma didn't really figure out he didn't really understand and figure out how to crack 11-a-side high-tier football. So you had a guy with supreme, amazing technical ability who could do outrageous moves like Ronaldinho. But unlike Ronaldinho, he didn't know how to put it within the context of a 38-game season and within the context of an 11-a-side game, where you need to know when and where how to execute it. I just need to know the dimensions and time and have the proper decision-making as to when to really pull off those kinds of moves and pull off those moves in an effective manner. This is what Dino did. But I just think that it was unfortunate that... oh my God. It's unfortunate that we, as football fans, were not able to really see what Quaresma could really do. Because I'd say it's something and I think again you have to look at Cristiano, because Cristiano couldn't do the kind of thing that Quaresma did, but Cristiano understood how to work hard, how to listen, and how to properly execute and apply himself in the context of an 11-a-side game. And Quaresma, I don't know whether Quaresma was at Barca, he was at Inter Milan. He was definitely at Inter Milan, so he was at all these clubs because he was so good, and people knew that he was so good. But there was so much talent, but you can say, I can't really say so on the manager, you've got to put it on, and I think when I do this list, it's really on the guy. Because for Quaresma, it is down to you to know. A manager just gives you a general blueprint. But a guy with so much ability, it is now down to you to, once the referee blows that whistle, you've got to apply your football brain into how to navigate this 90 minutes game and know how to be effective. You have to know how to be effective. And I just didn't know not to know how to use the skills to a properly effective manner. So Quaresma is my number 3. Number 2. Similar to Cassano, Robinho was compared to Pele. High praise. When Robinho came through, people were saying, Brazil would say, this is the dude. This is the next. We have been waiting for so long. We've been saying for so long, we believe that this is the next Pele. Because see, Ronaldo was different. Ronaldo was people like Ronaldo was someone that you created this like ensemble machine in a lab. So this dude, this was different. But Robinho was like, oh yeah, this reminds us of Pele. Because for me, Ronaldo and Pele are two very different kinds of players. But when you saw Robinho, it reminded people of Pele. So for Robinho, you had that shadow of Pele coming through, and people thought, no, this is the guy that has insane amounts of ability and has the kind of insane amounts of natural footballing ability that your boy Pele did. So where went wrong for Robinho, I just think that it's a case of, because he played for teams, and for Robinho, you saw glimpses. You definitely saw glimpses. But for a guy that could do the kinds of things that he could do, because when you just think of natural dribblers, just the natural art of dribbling, there are very few guys who could do it to the degree that Dino, that your boy Robinho could, because Robinho could do some stupid stuff, and the ability that he had on the ball was stupid. So I just think that for Robinho, I just think that it's a case of, people can say some after hours activities, some extracurricular activities, and he just was not able to really, for someone who is compared to Pele, you're Brazilian and so forth, I just think that he fell incredibly short, because my thing that there was at no point in Robinho's career was he ever even mentioned amongst the best players in the world. So that's how far he fell short. He was at no point was he even mentioned with regards to one of the best players in the world. So for me, for a guy who was coming in with the kind of fanfare that he came in, to not even make an impact as an individual at any point in time the way that he should have, I think for me, it's down to him. It's not down to manager or coach. It's down to you, and how, again, this is the theme, you're not able to properly apply your talents properly within the context of high-level football. So before we go to number one, let's just go to some guys who did honorary mentions. Mario Goetze, Pato. I'm going to say Neymar. Put me correct, I'm going to say Neymar, Adriano, and Joe Cole. Those are the ones. And the reason why they didn't make this is that I don't think they waste their potential as much as the guys here. While some of these guys, like for instance, Adriano, I never rated Adriano. Maybe privileged, but I never rated Adriano as much as people did. So that's why I do that in there. So number one, numero uno. That's it. Mario Balotelli. Mario Balotelli. And for me, I will keep saying this and I'll say it again. He had the potential to be amongst the best strikers that the game has ever seen. Hands down. If Balotelli realized his potential, he would at the very least be top 10 strikers of all time, and he could push for top 5. In my life, I can't speak about times before I was watching football for all the years I've been watching football, all through the 90s and so forth. I've never seen a striker strike the ball with the kind of technical precision that Balotelli did, ever. And I've seen them. From Ronaldo, Baggio, Shevchenko, Edzo, Weah, Kluivert, all these strikers that I've seen, I've never seen anybody with the precision, striking precision from Balotelli. This guy could take... I saw this guy through a goal where he took one step. This is from like 40 yards out. One step, strike it, and it goes straight into the top corner. The guy's striking ability was insane, which is why it is easily, hands down, the greatest example of wasted potential, because similar to Cassano, behavior problems, attitude issues, didn't fully exert himself. And I just think that, like Cassano, his character and so forth just wasn't disciplined enough to really take it seriously. And I don't think that Balotelli fully out. And I think this is the most painful thing. I don't think Balotelli realized how good he could have been. I think people around there were like, oh my gosh, Balotelli, I know you're good, but like, oh, he's so fun, he's so crazy. But I think, I'm sure nobody really sat him down and said, do you know how amazing you truly could be? Like, do you really know how amazing you truly could be? And I just think that he just didn't. I just don't think that he really truly realized what he could have done, because I think if he realized that potential, bro, he could have been easily, for sure, just based off of his talent and ability, be one of the best strikers ever. But again, the theme here is you can have all the talent in the world. You can have world-class talent and world-class ability. That means nothing if when I tune in onto a football game on a pitch, the referee blows a whistle, you don't show it. You don't show it each week, but specifically you don't show it in key big games when your team needs you the most. And I think, unfortunately, Balotelli was not able to do that, man. So, yeah, man, that is it, man. Those are examples of the top 5 wasted potential. Give me your thoughts, comment below, and I'll see you guys next week for another top 5 list. Or tell me below what other top 5 lists you want me to do. Peace out, stay true, peace.